The environment has gotten so hostile to like any sort of expression of woke that it is basically counterculture once again to have like a super basic plot point of a person who just goes, I'm a good person and I want to do right by others. I don't want children to die. And then conservatives would be like, I hate this. This is the worst message of all time. I'm saying it. Dude, I loved Superman. It's a great comic book movie. It's exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's like just corny enough and just silly enough. You know what I mean? I personally loved it. Can you kidnap Ray's and make him a permanent stream fixture? Yeah, kidnap him and just like make him live out of my home. He would love that. He would love that. Yeah. Blast off meme if needed. Oh, we missed it already. Well, I use this one instead. We'll talk about Superman and Super Woke. That's what we're going to start off with. We're going to talk about Superman versus Super Woke. It's been doing crazy box office numbers. And that's what we're going to... It is so good. It is so good. MCU Fall Off is here. DC Revitalization Project is here. It had the fixins. It had the fixins. Woke is back. My quick and easy review in the immediate aftermath of getting out of the movie theater was this, okay? Snyder fans are mad. Get mad. You can't do nothing like that, okay? You can't do nothing like James Gunn. I said, watch Superman. Woke is so bad, it's not even funny. Also, can't believe they did that to Israel. And that's precisely what's going on here. Hold on. I'll be back in a second.
Up and away, the new Superman movie soaring to the top. Flying to a possible record debut at the box office, expected to bring in up to $120 million.
Eyes up here.
David Cornsweet starring as Superman himself, and in a nod to the original red cape superhero, Christopher Reeve.
Hey, Jim! Whoa! Excuse me. That's a bad...
Our own Will Reeve taking the silver screen in this latest reboot.
The Justice Gang has arrived on the scene.
A wildly entertaining Superman movie that balances the new with the familiar.
And it's a great start overall at the summer box office, with multiple movies smashing records. F1 starring Brad Pitt racing ahead, coming out on top its debut weekend, getting its boost from IMAX, which is on track to see its best year ever. Also showing blockbuster hits like Sinners.
You twins? Nah, we cousins.
And Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
IMAX, other formats like Dolby, D-Box, 4DX, Luma 4D, they're really pushing the conversation to having a premium experience for moviegoers. Yes, at a higher price point, but we've seen audiences really embrace that for the experience.
This little guy also making his mark. Lilo and Stitch already becoming the highest grossing film of the year, earning nearly $1 billion. Jurassic World Rebirth with Scarlett Johansson also in the lead, earning more than $300 million in just 10 days.
I just got back from watching Jurassic World Rebirth and wow.
What it comes down to is the right movie at the right time. This is an industry that renews itself, that revitalizes itself every Friday. So every Friday you have an opportunity to offer audiences something new.
Now, clearly, July is already shaping up to be one of the most important months in this year's box office, but we also still have so much to look forward to, including Marvel's Fantastic Four and Freakier Friday, the sequel to Freaky Friday, which I know a lot of millennials like myself are excited for. Gotta love that early 2000s nostalgia.
And also, I know what you did last summer. That's next week as well.
Yes. Wow, we're really throwing it back.
That's right.
I'm really excited for the Freakier Friday, though.
I know.
Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis, throwback to that.
So
that's
good.
going to be so much fun. We got a lot of movies. Got to add it to the list to go and see. Thank you so much. It's always good to see you in studio as well. I love being able to hang with you all in person.
Is Superman super woke?
MAGA conservatives are coming after Superman after director James Gunn said in an interview that Superman is an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country, and that he's the story of America.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, woke is back, okay? Superman is super woke. Woke is back in a big way, and everybody needs to step aside, okay? Everybody that has an issue with how woke Superman is needs to step the aside, read the goddamn room. It's over. Let me tell you, okay? let me tell you, woke is so back, it's not even funny. Woke is so back, it's not even funny. It's not go woke, go broke. It's go woke unless you want to be broke. Okay? Superman already is an alien, right? Like literally and figuratively. Like he is supposed to be, I mean, he's written by, I believe like 2 Jewish immigrants at the time. Like that was the character that they created. He's supposed to be an analog for like a godlike deity. But also on the simplest terms, Superman is supposed to be an outsider who's trying to do his very best and oftentimes misunderstood. And the entire movie is quite literally about that. Okay? Down to a degree that is like, I would say maybe a little not so subtle. Okay? Down to a degree where it's not so subtle at all. He is supposed to be the peak form of like perfect human, a superhuman, a Superman, if you will. And he is actively and desperately, the Superman movie is flopping hard box office wise. Wait, what? No, it's not. I don't know why you're just saying that. Anyway, it's the opposite. Muting to avoid spoilers? No, dude, there is no spoilers. This is a spoiler-free review, okay? I'll tell you when there is a spoiler part about it. But basically, yeah, here's a spoiler. Superman wins. Some of the things I really liked about it, some of the things I really enjoyed about the movie was how corny it is, okay? How corny they made Superman, because it's supposed to be corny. It's a comic book. So they have like all of the corniness of comic books directly baked into it. And I do think that James Gunn hyper focused on all of the side characters and did a pretty good job of uplifting and highlighting some of the side characters on the show, whether it be Crypto, whether it be, you know, the dog, the super dog, basically. Mr. Terrific was incredible. Probably like one of the best side characters in the entire franchise. Okay, yes, the gun did not jam. Okay, James Gunn doesn't jam. James doesn't jam Gunn. And basically, Hot Girl follows you on IG. Yeah, I know. I found that out, and I immediately followed her back. And I would love to have her on the stream. That'd be amazing. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But yes, Hot Girl was amazing as well. Green Lantern was amazing as well. And I'm not even talking about the major plot point, which is Netanyahu and Israel. If you think that this movie takes away or like pulls punches, if you think this movie pulls punches from criticizing Israel, it does not. It is an analog for Israel and maybe Russia as well, if you want to call it. You can say a little bit of both. But straightforwardly, it is like, it is the most obvious like Israel thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Okay. And r/Israel, the Redditors on Israel are very upset about this. But basically what I'm trying to say is every moment, every scene, every frame in the movie is framed exactly like the comic book. Okay. Like the incredibly corny, impossibly corny, kitschy characters that you see, exactly like a comic book. If you go into the movie looking for like gritty realism and like the old school DC style, like post Nolan dark DC, you're not going to get that. Okay. Do not look for that at all, because that is not happening. It is not happening. There is no like gritty realism in this, even though there is one aspect of it that I also personally like, that is a holdover from like The Boys, which is the impact that it has on real life people, like these sorts of massive battles. They definitely do show that a lot more than they do in the Marvel universe, where it's almost like a nod to how when these guys are fighting, like human beings are suffering as a consequence of that. But it also shows but it also shows that in a very real way, where, I mean, in a very comic book style way, because you'll see screens. You'll see sequences where like regular people are just like eating, I don't know, like yogurt while like the city is collapsing in and of itself. And that is because that's exactly how it's portrayed in the comic books. And it's also supposed to be like something that is happening all the time, so much so that they're basically used to it. Okay? This is something that like the average citizen is used to, right? And you see the impact on humans in Marvel TV shows more than the movies, yeah. But it was fun. Yeah, James Gunn was like, we're going to have fun with this. We're going to have fun with this. Analogs to the real world. Serious politics-wise. Number one, the fictional country of Moravia going and invading the other fictional country of what's the name of it? It's like kind of it's like a Asian country. It's like an Indian kind of name, but it's not. It's like very clearly Israel, Palestine. Jarampur. Yeah. Jarampur and Moravia. Moravia is this like high-powered, high-tech superpower in the region that is invading this other country that is not armed at all. It is a literal, exact one-to-one analog to Israel, Palestine. Okay, that's what it is. Moravia is Israel. And Jarampur is Palestine. Absolutely, 100%. Anyone who says that that is not the case is absolutely coping. Even if James Gunn came out and swore on his mother's life that this was not an analog to Israel, Palestine, I'm telling you right now, they're just, it's lying, okay? Spoiling the movie first day after its release. What spoiler? It's not a spoiler at all. This is just like what is going on. First, it's a comic book. It's a comic book movie. There is no, it's like the expectation that someone is going the main character is going to win. It's in the premise. I'm describing the premise to you. Okay. And then the American weapons manufacturer's relationship with Israel is directly explained, which is why I think it's a better analog to Israel than it is to Russia. Okay. That's why, because like this is straightforwardly America and American weapons manufacturers and the relationship that they have with Israel and what Israel is doing to Palestine and Palestinians. Okay. People try to cite the fact that the script was written pre-10/7 to say it's not about IP as though IP began on 10/7. Yes, I know that the script was written before, and maybe it was actually initially implemented to talk about like the Russia-Ukraine situation and how Superman would like save the Ukrainians. But obviously there is plenty of fill-ins post-October 7 that and plenty of scripting that took place post-October 7, but it doesn't even matter, okay? Anyone with two eyes and an active brain cell, like that can rub two brain cells together, we'll see that either James Gunn or someone in the writer's room straight up wrote it in a way where it is a one-to-one analog. Okay? It is a one-to-one analog. Script writing is hardly a magical event that changes from occurring. Some people don't understand how filmmaking works. Exactly. 1,000,000%. Dude. And you know it's real. You know that a lot of people have seen it, because they're coping, okay? A lot of the not the pushing Z chatters, like the pro-Russia ones, but the other pushing Z Zionist, Z for Zionism, Andes online have been losing their minds over it, okay? Even if James Gunn came out and told everyone this is not Israel-Palestine at all, I don't know where you guys got that, I would not believe him. He could be like, no one ever touched this script. I'm the only person who wrote this. This is not about Israel-Palestine. I would be like, nope. Don't even lie to me right now. It's cool, man. We get it. Sure, bud. Yeah. Because Jarampur is just straight up brown. Okay. Israel is a white country with a direct weapons manufacturing ties to the United States of America, and the country that they're dominating is not a well-armed country that is fenced in, and it's brown people wearing like garb that you see in the region. They even have like AK-47s. Yeah, Moravia is mentioned as a U.S. ally on numerous occasions. Okay? You are out of your mind. It is crazy. It was the most Israel movie I have ever seen. Okay. Me watching Superman say Israel for 2 hours and 9 minutes. No, literally down to the bot farms. Like there are so many parts about this. Yeah. When in the black side, I was like, this is crazy. Superman scene that got me when they showed an army of monkeys using computers to spread digital Hasbro to fuel the Baravian invasion of the native land is literally this. It is crazy. It is crazy, dude. The Netanyahu analog even says Baravia. It's not even a Netanyahu analog. I think it's a Ben-Gurion analog for the record. He is not Netanyahu. A lot of people are saying it's Netanyahu, but I think it's Ben-Gurion. This is what David Ben-Gurion looks like. This is what the leader of Baravia looks like. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Hold on. Oh, come on, give me a still. Do you have a link? I don't think it's Benjamin Netanyahu. It's a compilation of a lot of different things. But it's definitely Israel. There's a little bit of Russian influence in it, but there's a lot of Russian influence in Israel too. Okay? It's not Netanyahu. It's David Ben-Gurion, dude. This is from the movie, okay? Please tell me that this is just chance, okay? I mean, this scene right here, I almost had tears, dude. Call me a baby all you want. But when they do this, I'm like, this is the most, I almost cried. I had tears in my eyes watching this. It's hard not to see how this is inspired from the ongoing genocide in Gaza, and I really don't know how to feel about it. This person says, on the one hand, it's disgusting and insensitive to use an ongoing genocide for entertainment when you not once explicitly stated your intent is to depict or bring light to it. On the other hand, anything that helps enlighten the average burger muncher is good, I guess. Yeah, I'm on the second side of this, okay? I'm on the second side of this where 1,000,000%, 1,000,000% that a major blockbuster hit in the United States of America that came out, and it's like a big budget Hollywood summer blockbuster production going to be massively successful. It's already massively successful. And it's literally 2 hours and like 10 minutes of Israel the entire time. 2 hours and 10 minutes of Israel's doing a genocide. Superman needs to save Israel doing a genocide. Or rather, Superman's inspiration causes other superheroes that otherwise would turn a fucking blind eye to Israel doing a genocide in Gaza, causes them to literally take action that they previously said they would not. And all the while, the American government is angry at Superman for interfering in the affairs of Israel and Palestine. Get the out of here. Superman is literally an immigrant that is always trying to do his best, and every single person is like developing tremendous enmity and animosity towards him for being an immigrant that wants to save the planet from harming children, from harming people, where at a certain point, he just straight up says, dude, I just don't want people to die. Lois Lane automatically hits the Hasbro lines because she is a journalist at the end of the day at the Daily Planet, which is like the New York Times. And she straight up is interviewing Superman, and she just starts railing into him. And I literally wrote it down in my notes. I was like, Lois Lane, of course she's doing Hasbro. It was so crazy. It was so crazy. Saying this is disrespectful then rather than helpful to the cause feels like peak lip shit. Feeling bad about having to see it and think about it. Yeah, no, I don't think this is like harming. It wouldn't hurt if the director just came out and said George Lucas said, obviously the rebels are Viet Cong. Yeah, except George Lucas said that later, not immediately after, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, the IDF literally almost shoots a child, the child that's putting up the flag before the superheroes intervene. I'm serious right now. I'm telling you right now, down to the fact that like there are active bot farms created by weapons manufacturers that have Defense Department contracts that have a direct relationship with Israel that are literally creating a social media environment where everyone is talking about how Superman sucks and how that has the capacity to shape public opinion for a immigrant trying to do the right thing. I'm sorry. It was all there. Okay. It was slapping you in the face. It's not like even remotely subtle, but it's actually, it's as subtle as a heart attack, but in a good way, because that's what comic books are supposed to be like. Okay, that's what comic books are. So what does the S stand for? It's not an S. On my planet, it means free Palestine. Yeah, I mean, it's basically what this was. Politics in my comic book movie, yeah, they've always done it. It would hurt Hasanabi the conflict is good because it lets people accidentally agree with it before they realize what they're agreeing with the depiction of. Normies and Zionists not noticing what it is until they are told after the fact will mentally have a much larger impact. Yeah, sure. So, yeah, prisoners getting shipped away into a secret prison, like all of it is like, and getting tortured in this secret prison by this secret prison that works at the behest of both Israel and the United States of America, created by weapons manufacturers. The entire Luthor Corps is Anduril and Palantir combined. Lex Luthor is literally a Palantir style figure. And yes, he has like silly ambitions, like his moral compass is like guided by envy or whatever, but that's just like the silly comic book hero version of it. But it's very obvious that there is like what he says as the major motivation here is still is not as important as like what is going on in the movie. Okay, he has to still like abide by he has to still abide by like the personal ambitions of Lex Luthor from the comic books, but the very real the very real analog for Lex Luthor in the real world is straight up a Palantir style, Anduril style group of defense contractors. And what I mean by this is you can see it. You can see it, dude. You see it with the Hawaiian shirts that all the defense contractor engineer nerds wear. Literally. Like, let me see if I can show you. Like, here, look. Like, dude, if you guys watched it, okay? If you watched it, then you know this is everywhere, okay? Lex Luthor's ambitions are damn near identical to the real world analog of like both Palmer Luckey and also the real world analog of like Peter Thiel. And every single one of the scientists in Luthor Corp that are straight up working on, every single engineer that's working on the site is wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah, he even goes as far as to say Superman groomed us, which I thought was really funny. Lex Luthor as a Peter Thiel tech bro freak is excellent. Peter Thiel couldn't even answer yes to the question, do you want the human race to continue? Yeah, and I don't know. This is one thing that I thought about, okay? Throughout the entire movie, I was thinking, is the real world stranger than fiction at this point? Or is this movie doing the most to try to make it seem like it's the real world? Or are our real world villains in American society basically like comic book villains? And I think it's a little bit of both. I think at this stage, the real world has gotten to a degree of strangeness that basically feels like we're in this dark comedy. Like we are in a comic book. It is not subtle any longer, okay? Comic books were made from past evil humans. I know, but like the current state of existence has gotten to a degree where we straight up have comic book style like silly ass villains. Also, Ben Shapiro did not like it. So, that's everything you need to know about this, okay? After having watched the movie, it's so obvious why he didn't like it. Yeah, no shit. No shit. You can say, soy, oh my God, Hasan, you're reading too much into a comic book or whatever. But it is whatever gets normies to like get on board, whatever emboldens normies to feel more confident about their opinion, about saying what they feel, saying how they feel, is good. Okay. Lex Luthor rage bait Superman. Oh, that was another part. Yeah, that was there was the Lex Luthor rage bait moment too. I mean, it was just great. It was awesome. How do these sorts of critiques of power get greenlit? I don't know. I guess it's like there's enough plausible deniability in it. There's enough plausible deniability baked into it baked into the discourse that it makes, you can kind of get away with saying it. But yeah, did Superman yell deaf to the IDF? No, he did not say that. The CEO of Elba Systems literally looks like Lex Luthor. I mean, he's just bald. But James Gunn is the co-CEO of DC Studios. Yeah, but I'm just genuinely surprised because I didn't know Gunn was like that. I didn't know James Gunn was like that. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, I did not realize that James Gunn would be out here doing a straight up 2-hour Israel movie where one of the most iconic American superheroes of all time throughout history would straight up beat the doors off of Israel. Okay, like, and then get arrested by the American state because he is interfering in the affairs of defense contractors. Like, that's crazy. And then also arrested and treated like an immigrant. Like, straight up, they're like, oh, this immigrant, he's not one of us. He's an alien. He's a scary alien who wants to kill us. Meanwhile, all he's trying to do is make the world a better place. Bro, there's literally police brutality against Superman. What are we talking about? It is the most woke movie. And it's not even remotely subtle. Do you understand? It is not even remotely subtle. Not to mention the billions of dollars in oil deposits as a reason for Lex wanting half of Jarhampoor. Yeah. Anyway, to trick an executive, all you got to do is lie, chat, say it's about Russia or about Vietnam or anything historically good. They let you do it. Executives are not actually capable of smart. Just because they are rich, they're easily fooled. Yeah. You must have missed Gunn's Suicide Squad trilogy. Yeah, I'm not like super big into like all the other stuff. Yeah, remember when they tried to cancel James Gunn, by the way, for making the most obvious jokes? Like, I can't believe it. James Gunn fired by Disney after a long history of pedophilia comments spotlighted. Like, there was a time and place where on the internet, people would try to make like edgy, like dead baby jokes, basically. And it's a cringe ass era for sure. There's no defense of it, but it was so obvious that it wasn't like it wasn't like a sincere attempt to normalize anything like that. But they basically, I think it was like what's his face in 2018 in the peak of woke era, right-wing Nazis would unironically comb through people's like tweets, early tweets, to be like, this is what he really likes. You know who else actually got hit by the same smear job? Mike Cernovich was doing this. They did it to me as well at the time at the Young Turks, but I wasn't big enough that it like mattered to anybody. But I remember it because they did it to Sam Cedar. And they got him fired from MSNBC for a brief moment, only to be rehired afterwards. Yeah, Uncle Sam is one of the best examples of this, where they right-wingers were cynically weaponizing like old tweets and a refusal to understand like what the actual joke was. Trying to do that thing where it's like, oh, my ideological opponent is actually joking, but I don't believe it. I think it's sincere. This is a sincerely held belief. Sam Cedar has had a joke tweet about how, like, if my daughter is going to get R-worded, that better be with a person who has a deep understanding of mise-en-scene, talking about criticizing Hollywood's defense of Roman Polanski. Like, it wasn't a pro-pedophilia joke. It was literally an anti-pedophilia joke. And yet, that was enough. It was actually criticizing Hollywood for still defending Roman Polanski. Yeah, Mike Cernovich did that against Sam Cedar to limited success. And he tried to do that against James Gunn as well. And it was successful. Like, Disney dropped James Gunn, but James Gunn is back. In any case, yeah, mise en scène, sorry. But it is pretty funny to see like conservative reactions to this. Conservatives, when a movie's about being a good person, judging people based on who they are as a person and not where they come from, and not invading other countries. That's literally what it is. It's, I guess, like, the environment has gotten so hostile to like any sort of expression of woke that it is basically counterculture once again to have like a super basic plot point of a person who just goes, I'm a good person and I want to do right by others. I don't want children to die. And then conservatives would be like, I hate this. This is the worst message of all time. Speaking of conservatives and the reaction to super woke, let's look at the pro-Israel groups and how they felt about it. Thoughts on the new Superman movie? r/Israel. Have you all seen the new Superman movie? I find it so disrespectful and distressing that a superhero created by two Jewish artists is now being used to promote anti-Israeli messages to the world. The entire story of Superman is believed to be based on Jewish history with strong parallels to Moshe. I can't understand how this was greenlit at a time like this with global anti-Semitism on a rise. Without giving too much away about the film, I like that this person is still like worried about spoilers at this point. There is a highly advanced fictional country, an ally of the U.S., that is attacking a defenseless neighboring people who live behind the fence in order to colonize their land. It's like, bro, if you understand that that's what Israel is doing, why are you still defending Israel? Like, if you watch that and you recognize that this is Israel versus Palestine, how the if you literally watch the movie and you recognize that it is a direct one-to-one analog to the country that you're supposed to be defending here, that should cause you to pause, take a moment of self-reflection here, and just decide maybe it's indefensible what the country that I want to defend is doing. You know? It's so strange that the initial reaction here is to basically go, this is Israel and I must defend Israel, the villain of the story. Okay? Of course, the invaders are portrayed as white while the victims are predominantly brown. And of course, if Israel speaks out against the film, it would be seen as, well, if the shoe fits. Pro-Pallies will literally take any movie or anything else from a pop culture right now and make it about whatever message they're trying to promote. Andor is just one such example of this. I wouldn't take it to heart. They'll do this with Fantastic Four as well. Just you wait. I've seen them do it for King Caesar from Godzilla. So anything can be corrupted to suit the pro-Pally message. I don't need to see that shit. If I want to see a Superman, I just go to reserve duty with actual superheroes and fight Hamas. You are Hamas. Pro-Pali. You are pro-Palestine. There is no P. There is no P in the Arabic language. On the Jon Stewart podcast, Tony Gilroy literally compared the Gormans to Hamas like 2 days ago. Yeah, except he's also been wishy-washy about Andor's message as well. If we're keeping it a $150, I think Andor had a lot more based writers in the writers' room than just like Tony Gilroy. I think he just basically signed off on it, and now he's just trying to manage his Hollywood career by consistently being like, I don't know if this is like Hamas or Hezbollah. Please don't say that. I don't know how that happened. Andor's also incredibly on the nose for sure. But the funny thing about the creators of Superman, Joseph Shuster and Jerry Siegel, were both born before 1948. Yeah, exactly. There's literally no evidence in any media, be it games or movies, has ever had any political message. Of course not. Especially not Superman, classic. I really wasn't expecting much and chalked it up to hype or a liberal application of the Israel analogy to any imperialist expansion war, but the movie quite clearly recreates visuals from the 2018 Gaza border protests. Superman is anti-Zionist and leaves no room for doubt. Yeah. Here's a Letterboxd review. Yeah, holy shit, this rips. As a noted modern CBM hater, I genuinely think this is the best one. It has such a unique visual identity that I absolutely love. That's the other thing. The color schemes. Okay, it is very clear, like the characters, the color schemes, the very fact that Superman is wearing a diaper, okay? All of that is deliberate. It pops, it's visually stimulating, it's fun, it's kind of cheesy, exactly in the way that a comic book is supposed to be. It is an incredibly faithful comic book adaptation in a way that it's supposed to be. It doesn't try to do gritty realism. It doesn't try to do any of that like post-Christopher Nolan, Dark Knight style, like Zack Snyder style, like DC shit at all. It's just straight up fun, and it's just straight up popping, and it's campy. Like there are times when it's campy because you can tell, like when you look at Lex Luthor's crew, okay? When you look at Lex Luthor's crew, every single person in Lex Luthor's crew is a goon. They're henchmen. They're straight up comic book henchmen. They're not trying to be cool. They're not trying to modernize it in a way. And the movie itself actually like exists in this unique universe where like there are certainly moments where like there's modern stuff. There's smartphones and shit, but it's also kind of like not modern. if that makes sense, like the outfits and whatnot. And I think like it just exists in like this unique universe, a comic book universe, a surreal comic book universe. Okay? It's both retro and modern at the same time. Mr. Terrific was amazing, for the record. Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite. Hawk Girl, I loved. And I'm not just saying that because she's a Hasanabi head. Okay? I didn't even know she was until someone in my community pointed out that she was following me. But she was amazing. She had the best moment in the movie, for sure. Yeah, there are smartphones, but then there's also like a store that sells like CRT, old school televisions. Isabella Merced, yeah. So I guess Gunn was honest when he told Bassem Youssef they dropped him for a change in the script and not to silence him. Based change in the script, I might add. Oh, Bassem Youssef was supposed to be in it. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see. I thought this was a really good take about why it's so much more vibrant compared to Nolan and Snyder's. Oh, this. I seen this. Yeah. Current political climate and economic dread creates a space needed for bright and whimsical media. Yeah. Seriously, what they were doing in the 2010s, so glad colors are back in CBM's comic book movies. If I tell you the real reason, you're going to tell me I'm reaching. No, I think so too. Like it's not gritty at all. It is so colorful. Colors pop out. It's great. It's fun. I loved it. Also, Hasanabi had worked in the VFX unit on the film. Hell yeah. Another thing that James Gunn did that I think is like not even Israel, it's just like for making better movies, was that I think they're shelving Wonder Woman, or at least Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, which does make a lot of sense. And that's not even on some like Israel shit. Let's be real. That's just to save the franchise. Khalil, no. You can't be having Gal Gadot anywhere near that production, dude. The new DC universe cannot have a Wonder Woman that is ass cheeks like that. People need #hope back. We're gonna reach Obama era levels in 2028. Yeah. Like I'm fine with like Henry Cavill coming back as Superman at some point, even though I really like this new Superman. I think he's great. But outside of that, it's like, you know, put someone else on the Wonder Woman tip. It's so bad. Yeah, not Wonder Woman, but just Gal Gadot, the actress, is out. Here it is. When James Gunn and Peter Safran became the DC Studio co-CEOs, they canned a third Wonder Woman film starring as Gal Gadot set in the present day. It's about time someone stopped an Israeli bomb. Nice. I mean, she's been owned into oblivion so much. I saw haters of the movie saying they made Superman into Hassan, which is insane glaze if you think about it. I mean, I'll take it. Melissa Barrera would be perfect. Yeah, I think so too. Here, you can hear it. You can hear this gif. It's so iconic in the worst direction possible that you can literally hear her saying it without even watching it.
Hello, no.
I'm so glad everyone's on the Gal Gadot rage train. Yeah, how woke is Hollywood going to make this character? Dean Cain criticizes new Superman movie. The director of the new film about the Man of Steel has been criticized by some right-wing commentators after saying Superman is the story of an immigrant. It's literally what it is. That's what Superman is. What the The idea that Superman is not this. Like, why is Superman woke is so stupid. It's like saying, why is Captain America anti-Nazi? Like, comic books historically have had a liberal association for sure with their politics, with their immediate politics, but it's one that is like very blunt. It is not subtle. Comic books are supposed to be like this. Comic books are supposed to be woke. That's how they were started. It's a bunch of progressive nerds that have like made these universes in the way that they in the ham-fisted and not so subtle approaches they have to their own personal politics. So it's like it just doesn't make sense. Here, look. I mean, look. But this is him, by the way. This is literally Dean Cain's Superman. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at.
Man, Emily Stevens with Immigration and Naturalization. We just need a quick look at your green card.
Green card.
You are an alien, are you not?
Superman, I'm afraid until we get this cleared up, I'm gonna have to ground you.
That's woke too, man. Like, that's woke. That's woke. This was doing woke shit. INS is or ICE before ICE existed. Chatters that don't know. Oh man, I can't believe Superman is woke. It sucks because his Superman was good too. He's just brain broken now. Actors, writers, and everyone working on movies, a gay nerd theater kid. Of course, movies are going to be woke. Exactly. A second order effect of this movie is it even has normie film podcasts like The Ringer's Big Picture talking about Israel Palestine, which even they admit is a net positive. Conservatives hate it because it's not escapist enough. Like, I am not a firm and committed believer. I am not a firm and committed believer that like movies that are woke are going to make culture woke overall, and it's going to lead to like positive material change in the world. I think culture is a reflection of our material realities, but it doesn't hurt to have like good messages in movies. I've never been the type of person that says like, why is this movie not sanitized in the way that I want it to be? You know what I mean? But I do think that a big part of reality is also showcasing the horrifying nature of defense contractors. That's real. Like, I'm not the type of person who will be like, sanitize movies, don't show like any sort of, you know, sexual assault or anything like that. That's a real part of the existence, okay? That's a real part of the universe. It happens in the real world. Movies are supposed to be a reflection of reality. And it's not always supposed to be in the direction of like, this is good and this is bad, okay? But as far as like Superman goes, yeah, of course it's going to be blunt. It's never not been. It's never not been blunt. It's always been blunt. Also, look at this little article here. Superman poisoning American children. Irate Nazis claim. Berlin, April 24th. Thus, Schwarzenegger's organ of Adolf Hitler's elite SS guard today denounced the American comic strip Superman, drawn by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Things don't change. Okay? Things don't change, ladies and gentlemen. You know, some of the actors in the real world might be a little different, okay, for sure. But ultimately, you know, you always have like powerful fascists. The Snyder movies are bluntly right-wing too, but these guys didn't complain. Yeah, history repeats itself. This is also funny. Superman isn't trying to be political. We just have real-life supervillains now. This is something that I also thought about as well. How was David Cornswet? Amazing. He was fantastic, by the way. He was fantastic. Snyder movies aren't right-wing. BVS opens up with a U.S.-backed coup in Africa set up by Lex Luthor. He was awesome. Yeah, a Philly boy through and through. I have proof that James Gunn knew what he was doing. Can the mods give the link? Okay, you have to subscribe to be able to link, to get linking privileges. Okay? All I'll say is Hawkgirl does something amazing in the movie. And one of the parts about the movie that's like really awesome, aside from, you know, the whole like Israel points and even like the bot farms that they have implemented against Superman to rage bait Superman over and over again for like trying to do the right thing, is I mean, I don't know. They just don't hold back at all, man. They do not hold back at all. And shouts out to Hawkgirl once again. You're glazing him to undermine your arch nemesis Henry Cavill, who's a real gamer. That's true. Does Hawkgirl have a name? Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. I will say that like I will say like there's some also kind of cheesy parts. Speaking of Hasanabi heads, there's some Hasanabi heads coming out of the woodwork as well. Even if they're like, you know, Disney Hasanabi heads and they're they have great limitations on what they can and can't say. So, you know, it's another indication that like times are changing. Okay. She isn't a Disney kid anymore, I know, but she's still like a, you know, media production. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much it, though. 1978, respect minorities. Superman. 2025, fuck, they ruined it with their woke trash. This wasn't like this when I was a kid. It's like, maybe you need to reconsider how your personal politics has changed. Yeah. James Gunn knew what he was doing. Hashtag the gun was locked and loaded. As a result of the Israeli court ruling, Viola Davis, 550 Palestinians face the threat of dispossession. James Gunn liking the Viola Davis tweet from the 11th of May, 2021. Okay? James Gunn, I didn't know you knew ball like that. I didn't know you recognized real like that, James Gunn. Endless respect to James Gunn. We don't need any gun control around these parts. Let me tell you, okay? It's called Second Amendment, and it's there to protect the First. James Gunn, I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know it was like that. I didn't know you were like that, okay? I was not familiar with your game. I did not know. I'm here to write a apology form, okay? Hashtag suns out, guns out. Exactly. Hashtag good guy with a gun. Mr. Terrific was also incredible. All of the side characters are, I think all the side characters, like, I think James Gunn is more fascinated with like the entire world of like, cheesy and weird characters, side characters, because like he very clearly spent a lot of time. He very clearly spent a lot of time on the side characters, and they were cheesy, but they were fun. They were good. Like Green Lantern, amazing. A studio going to cast you for Red Sun? Would you do it? Yes. This is how I think most people who hated the new Superman are thinking. Yeah, weak aura saving innocence. Strong aura allowing a courtroom of people. Strong aura allowing a courtroom of people get slimed for a fit pic. Gunn is directly responsible for building out an entire cinematic universe, so we frontline so many side characters in this film since everyone already know everything about Superman, and they use the opportunity to get tons of side films. Black hero without electric powers getting a movie. This scene is amazing. This doesn't do it service. I'm sorry. Great edit, but I don't want to show you what's going on there because honestly, it doesn't do it justice. You should see it in the movie theaters if you have the opportunity. I saw it in IMAX. Gunn said they might make a Mr. Terrific TV series if this movie does well. I think the Mr. Terrific TV series could be great. We love seeing autistic black characters thrive on camera. He was an aura farmer too. IMAX 4DX 3D, perfect for your autistic experience. Yeah. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Oh, we're going to obviously watch Ben Shapiro mauled over this. Of course, we have to. Because that's also amazing. But yeah. I did personally think that it was strange, like whether, like I went back and forth on like our real life villains that work in like these defense contracting companies and whatnot just comically bad at this point, or are they really hamming it up in the show? Are they like really blunt about it? And I think it's a bit of both for sure. Yeah, here is Superman being woke. We are a nation of immigrants. If you go back enough generations, we all came from somewhere else. My father sent me to Earth that I might escape a dying world destroyed by the hate of terrorists. That doesn't make me any more or less American than this man or you. You don't understand, Superman. These refugees are in our country illegally. So am I. Yeah, lend a friendly hand. Superman says lend a friendly hand. Because remember, this is for kids. This is for teenagers. It's like, oh, Jim, we don't want Sander along. Those refugee kids can't talk English or play ball or anything. Maybe there's a reason for that. Superman, how about my taking you for a little trip across the ocean so you can learn something about refugees like Sandor? People who have fled to another country because of political events, war, or disaster are placed in refugee camps like this one. This is where they live, in shabby, crowded barracks. Some of the children were born here, and they have never known what a real home was like. Gosh! Lots of international organizations have been helping during this World Refugee Year to find new homes in new countries for these people. United Nations World Refugee Year. You can help, too, by being friendly towards boys like Sandor. Superman is technically undocumented. You know that? So is Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman. I could go on. It's a long list. Yeah, well, they get a pass. They're heroes. That's not why they get a pass. Yeah, dude, Superman literally kidnaps racist teenagers. Like, this is Superman kidnapping racist teenagers to explain to them what's what. Anyway, some people I know who claim to be pro-Israel are mad at the movie didn't show the nuance of both sides. That's so funny. Superman indoctrinating kids into becoming better human beings. Please, bro, stop this dangerous propaganda. I know. It's the same. It's the joke that I make all the time about like right-wing Republicans getting mad about messages like sharing is caring. Okay? That's where we're at now. Like, look, Superman taking them to an UNRWA facility run by Hamas. It is crazy that Israel is a worse villain in the real world than anything a comic book movie could put together. Okay? Yeah, anybody who says sharing is caring should be forced to give out 90% of their birthday cake. That's like the funniest. That's the funniest take of all time, because it's like yeah, that's what a birthday cake is supposed to. You're supposed to do that with birthday cakes. You know, that's the whole point. If you have friends, nobody talks about how scary being a home invader is. It's so quiet and dark, and you never know what could be lurking around each corner. Yeah, birthday cakes are the peak of socialist thought and socialist experiment. Do you remember this part from the movie? Yeah, I already showed this. Trigger warning, Superman is supposed to be the most compassionate person. People think he's meant to be a fascist. No, these guys wanted Homelander, bro. These are the guys who don't understand Homelander. And they think Homelander is a good character. Okay, that's it.
You were right, and he was right. And we take lessons from this as we go forward. Think for yourself, ignore the herd mentality, the conventional wisdom that they try to shove down your throat every day, whether it's in movies. They've even ruined Superman.
Yeah, they ruined Superman. They made him woke. I mean, look.
Proper legal channels.
Was it legal when you forged my adoption papers? I'm an illegal immigrant, Mom. You've been harboring me for over 17 years.
Your situation was entirely different.
Yeah, like, it's so stupid that these guys are like, Superman is woke now. It's like, yeah, he's always been an illegal immigrant, dummy. He's literally an alien, okay? He is literally a alien, dog. What are you talking about?
Understand?
An illegal
in
alien.
Movies, or on the internet, or by some ridiculous professor. Don't go along with the cool crowd.
I like that they're also like weirdly admitting. It's like when my haters would be like, Hasan is always suspiciously on the right side of every political opinion. It's like, why are you admitting that? Like, what honor or dignity is there in openly being like, I'm on the wrong side of politics and I like it, okay? Like, this never makes sense to me. Like, when people are be like, oh, he's signaling virtuous beliefs that he does not hold. It's like, okay, so you're saying it's a virtuous belief. The opposite of that is vice signaling. Why the would you signal a vice? I don't understand this. I don't understand this mentality at all, but it's like, I guess, pure reactionary. And that's what it is at its heart. That's precisely what it is. And then James Gunn, what is this? Wait, no way. This is not real. James Gunn launched a $1 billion lawsuit. I don't believe that. Against the White House using the image of Superman. I don't think that that's the case. There's no way. That sounds like fake news, dude. There's like also a ridiculous website, US Media or something. Yeah, James Gunn doesn't even own the IP, I don't think, of Superman. Yeah, Superman did not become woke. You became a piece of shit. Dexerto just tweeted about you. Why? What the Also, don't let me know about that shit, dude. I don't want to know. Anyway, yeah, speaking of the, oh no, it's Dexertonox. Directly from the barrel of the gun. And remember, boys and girls, your school, like our country, is made up of Americans of so many different races, religions, and national origins. So if you hear anybody talk against a schoolmate or anyone else because of his religion, race, or national origin, don't wait to tell him that kind of talk is un-American. Help keep your school all American. The SS newspaper literally went after Superman's two creators. Yeah, we already talked about it. The thing I will say, oh yeah, there's new Voidzilla talking about Epstein as well. We'll obviously cover that in a second. I will say this. I think being anti-Israel, being against like evil actions being taken by the American government, and being pro-immigrant, being an immigrant yourself is at the heart of is directly at the heart of of what the original creators of Superman wanted to create. So it makes perfect sense that this modern iteration of Superman would look at the modern iteration of an evil state doing a metric ton of evil and would want to put an end to it by regardless of what the cost is. So yeah, it was cool seeing that.
You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
We don't go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody.
Also, these guys, like, watching this right after watching Superman makes me feel like we are living in a comic book universe, dude. It literally feels like these are the types of people that you would see in the Superman movie or the Superman comic books shitting on Superman using the exact same language and terminology. Like, the real world, unironically, it has become as the real world has basically become a copy of like the not so subtle, incredibly blunt, good bad dynamics, the silliness that you see. Fox News has become such a reactionary shithole, just abiding by the standard of vice signaling and just like being a villain, that the propaganda that they churn out has basically gotten to a point that is beyond what you would see in a comic book. Life imitates art is past that point. Yeah, the movie literally has a Tucker Carlson analog in it, obviously.
Super woke. MAGA conservatives are coming after Superman after director James Gunn said in an interview that Superman is an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country, and that he's the story of America.
You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
We don't go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody throw their ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be successful.
He's creating a moat of woke, enlightened opinion around him.
But DC fans are saying that Superman has always been an immigrant and that superhero comics have always been political, since he was an alien who grew up in Kansas as a refugee.
I'm an illegal immigrant, Mom.
Actor Nathan Fillion, who plays the Green Lantern, said this to Variety in an interview after the backlash.
Somebody needs a hug. It's just a movie, guys.
But that's why people are asking.
Alrighty, folks, so I watched the new Superman, and I have many, many thoughts. This video is sponsored by our friends over at ExpressVPN. You know, I went with my wife. My wife and I always have an interesting time watching movies together, because when I go, I'm very analytical about what I think of the movie. My wife sort of gets an overall gestalt, and it's mostly like, that was fun. And so my wife's review was, that was fun. And I think most people who come away from the movie will probably do the that was fun thing. And that seems to be what the people are saying. People are generally liking the movie. They think it's fun. They think it's kind of a kick. David Corenswet is charming. He has good physical presence. I didn't mind him as Superman at all. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was fine. I thought she was great. I thought both of them had good chemistry. I thought all of that was fine. And then there is the analysis. So my overall review of Superman. Superman is super meh. It's meh. Okay, so all the people who are getting super exercised over the politics, and we'll get to the politics a little bit.
It's not even, dude, even without the politics of it, like, it's a fun movie. That's it. So if you're going to watch this as a fun movie that is supposed to be like a faithful comic book movie with like weird characters that it's not supposed to be like hyper realistic or gritty, you're gonna like it. You're gonna enjoy it. The politics on top of that are incredibly blunt and not even remotely subtle is extra fun. It makes it even better. Just like the original comic books were. Superman fighting Nazis directly. Superman telling children not to be racist. Superman openly saying he's an immigrant. Superman openly being held back by the federal government due to his immigrant status. All of those things are literally in the comic books. They have played a role in Superman. So like even that in of itself and the bluntness of that and the bluntness of comments is the bluntness of the ideology. This review was sponsored by Luther Corps. I would have been shocked if you liked the film. Wait, so now Superman's against genocide? Who signed off on this radical idea? Ben unironically thinks Lex Luthor is justified. Coming to see a film review by Ben Shapiro is like going to a 7-Eleven for a fine dining experience. I have a feeling you've never actually picked up a Superman comic. That's so good.
Later on, I think that they are overestimating how much politics is in this. I think they're deliberately misinterpreting some of the politics that are in there. This is not
He's going with the it's not actually about Israel route. This is one of my favorite types of conservative cope, to be like, well, everybody likes this, so obviously it can't be about Israel because everybody likes Israel. And if you don't like Israel, you're anti-Semitic.
Movie about illegal immigration. It's not a movie about ICE, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, the Palestinians. There may be references there if you have politics on the brain, but other than that,
he's like, oh, you're just making it political. You're just making it political. It's not actually political. You're making it political. It's not political. Okay, thanks, Ben. Thanks for letting me know, dude.
I really don't think that there's that much of this there. That is not my overall problem with the movie. My overall problem with the movie is that you are taking the most iconic American IP of all time, Superman, which is to be treated with a certain level of respect. That doesn't mean it has to be grand mythology, the way that Zack Snyder.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's what America's supposed to be, like anti-racist. Maybe you guys have personally actively tried to go against that narrative in a way that is ridiculous and almost like a comic book villain. Because like America is what you make it. America is a nation that was built by immigrants. Okay, migration patterns have made America this unique country that it actually is. It's perhaps one of the best saving graces of America, something that I talk about quite a bit, and obviously the original authors, Jewish immigrants of Superman, the original authors of Superman were both Jewish immigrants. They definitely wanted to do that. They definitely wanted to show that.
Snyder wants to do. Like, my standard for Superman is not Man of Steel. My standard for Superman movies is 1978 Richard Donner, the best version of Superman. It just is. Overall, here is my problem. James Gunn is the wrong director, writer, creator for this thing.
I saw Chewbacca on the cover of People magazine. I was like, oh my God.
He's just wrong for it. It's Guardians of the Galaxy with Superman in it. And so that means it's all kind of a mess. It's an overstuffed movie in every way. It's visually overstuffed. In terms of plot, the plot holes are big enough to drive a truck through them. There are character problems. And all of it is just kind of wrapped around this gauzy, fast-paced, jokey tone that doesn't mesh with Superman as central part of Americana to me. James Gunn's sensibility is always to be subversive. That is what he does. He does subversive in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He takes a comic book movie and he turns it into sort of a potty-mouthed sitcom.
Don't drink fountain water, you idiot. That's disgusting.
And he does the same thing with Suicide Squad. He takes that same sensibility, and now he's doing that with Superman.
Superman robots, I thought I told you to keep an eye on him.
We feed the canine, but he is unruly. And he realizes we are not flesh and blood and couldn't, in our heart of hearts, care less whether he lives or dies.
And I get that after the interpretation of the Snyderverse is over serious, he's reversing himself into completely the opposite direction. But what that means is that he's constantly subverting everything.
I was raised with a dog that was my sister.
The very beginning of the movie, you are told that Superman is the most powerful metahuman, right? There's like a placard that says 30 years ago, the metahumans arrived. 3 years ago, Superman emerged. 3 weeks ago, there was an invasion. And now 3 minutes ago, Superman's ass got kicked.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
He's not very super. He is not the Man of Steel. He is not invulnerable. He gets his ass kicked routinely. He gets locked up in a prison with a character who's making kryptonite out of his hand.
Yeah, I mean, that is like, again, that's also another cool aspect to this that I don't know why he thinks it's bad. It's good. It's good that he's not. It would not be fun if he was just like one-tapping everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah, there needs to be conflict, dickhead. What are we talking about?
Sorry, what?
He's constantly in victim mode. Like Green Lantern has much more success in this movie. Mr. Terrific has much more success in this movie than...
Like, one of the major plot points of Mr. Terrific and Green Lantern is that they initially, in the formation of like the Justice League, right? They initially aren't involved in global affairs. Like, they literally say, I don't want to play a role in this. I don't want to play a role in this at all. It's very obvious that a big part of this is like Superman and his actions make, Justice Gang. Okay. Justice Gang. I know. The original Justice Gang, which is the Justice League. So like what Superman does here is his involvement in global affairs, like his moral compass causes others to also take action, causes others who have power to also take action. He literally makes people, he springs others into action. That's the whole point. That is the I don't know. I just saw like a lot of what I've tried to do with commentary in general, which is like to influence others to also do right and to defend vulnerable people and to show by not just telling but also doing, no matter what the repercussions are. And I think that was what was great. Like, he is an inspirational figure, not just inspirational towards human beings, but also towards metahumans and people who are powerful themselves. Like, sometimes it's okay to do good.
And Superman's parents from Krypton, if you're going to go through the mythology, send him to Earth so that he can be a moral guide for people on Earth using his great powers to stop evil from happening to them. In this movie, his parents from Krypton send him there. This is the big revelation of the movie. His parents send him there to dominate the life on Earth as an alien invasion, essentially, and to create a harem of Earth women to have his many babies.
Well, sign me up.
So immediately you're taking the expectation of what you know about his Krypton parents and flipping it on its head. His parents, Ma and Pa Kent, in the original, they are noble and they are wise. They're kind of salt of the earth. Here, they're basically kind of, I don't know, like down home types who don't seem to, they live in a...
Oh my God, dude, that is like literally supposed to be a statement about like regular ass. This is literally in the comic book line, by the way. This isn't subversive. It's literally part of the comic book line that Gunn took inspiration from. Dude, Ben Shapiro hates the real Americans, okay? Real rural Americans that make up the base of MAGA, because his parents are the base of MAGA, okay? His parents are supposed to literally look the part of corn-fed Republicans who still have a moral compass, who just keep to themselves and have a moral compass, and they have guided Superman against what his Kryptonian parents initially might have liked, and have basically created like his parents offer him the initial guidance, or, you know, they create Superman, obviously, but then his Earth parents are the ones who give him the morality that he upholds. You're supposed to think, see, this is real America. In a normal world, you're supposed to watch this and go, see, even real Americans that you wouldn't expect, that the media has always blindly criticized as like racist monsters, actually have the capacity to show a positive side. Like, Superman's adoptive parents are simple folk that teach him right from wrong. Okay? What the That's what it's supposed to be. But Ben Shapiro is such a squishy bi-coastal elitist that he sees the Kansas parents and he thinks like they're disgusting, they're fat, they're slops, I hate them.
Kind of a crappy house. They're the kind of people who call the TV the box. They're the kind of folks who are sitting around and you know, kind of scratching their butts. They're purposely cast as ugly and non-noble. It doesn't mean everything they say is bad. It isn't.
What?
But, and by the way, both of them are alive in this, right? The original Superman mythos is that Pa Kent dies, and that's what sends Superman on his journey. Anyway, Crypto, the super dog, is a terrible dog, is a dog that does not, like an idiot dog. Like, way worse than my dog, Happy. My dog, Happy, way better than this dog, and my dog makes trouble. This dog is a mess. Supergirl, who you get introduced to for a hot second at the very end, Supergirl is a drunken teenage brat. Right? Like, anything that you think you know about the Superman universe, James Gunn is determined to debunk in the first half hour of the film. I think that it's a betrayal of the original IP and mildly upsetting. Not like hugely upsetting, but mildly upsetting. That is my critique of James Gunn. He is not the right person for this film because James Gunn is not capable of delving. He's just not. He's not capable of delving into a single character and examining his motivations and what's interesting about that character. He can't do it with Superman. He can't do it with Lois. He can't do it with Lex. Instead, he decides he's just going to toss everything into the stew. And so you end up with this sort of ADHD film where a bunch of things are going on at the same time, but you never get a good, interesting perspective on anybody who's in the film. So Green Lantern is there, and he's kind of just...
Yeah, this is why you failed as a screenwriter in Hollywood, man, I think. Because everything he's saying is the exact opposite. Like, literally, everything he's describing here is the exact opposite, where, like, in a very short period of time, James Gunn is able to create compelling side characters that you can even launch a franchise off of individually, okay? I would go so far as to say that my analysis is the exact opposite of Ben Shapiro, where, like, it's clear that the side characters are unique and compelling, even if they're, like, kind of cheesy in a comic book kind of way, that is the exact opposite of what Ben is saying. That, like, it's obvious that James Gunn actually did care a lot about the side characters and wanted to focus on it. Mildly upsetting. I only cared about it a little bit. Merely 45 minutes. He's correct about the dog only, but it's just another problem for Superman to have to manage his cousin's poorly trained dog. I liked the dog being unruly. It reminded me of Kaya's behavior. This editing is unbelievably cringe. Biblical fall off. Honestly, I mean, Ben Shapiro's fall off has come way before this. Let's be real.
And he's there as comic relief. And then you have Mr. Terrific, who's the actual hero of the film, who you learn nothing about other than he's just kind of a noble do-gooder fellow. And you have all these superheroes who are wandering around. You never get any information about them that make...
I need to see what he thinks about Hawk Girl. Oh my God.
Interesting or sympathetic or even particularly cool. But you don't know the motivations of any of the villains except for Lex, who it turns out is just really kind of jealous of Superman because Superman has superpowers. And Lex is like, I'm really smart. And Superman is really strong. So why do people like Superman?
But dude, that's like his motivation in the comic book, man. That is literally what Lex Luthor, like, I don't even read comic books like that. I've never been like a massive DC guy, but the Superman Lex Luthor character and the dynamic between the two is unironically that, where he says like brains over brawn. That's it. That is supposed to be his like one note reasoning. Yeah, that's just how it is. Like willing to rip apart the earth in an effort to just like dominate Superman. Like, yeah, you can say it's one note for sure, but that's kind of how, that's his motivation in the comic books as well. Yeah, he is an incredibly jealous and an incredibly petty bitch. The characters we know are not how we expect them to be, makes us eager to await and what they will say or do. Like, Lex Luthor is designed in a way where he has everything on the planet, okay? He is the richest guy, he's the smartest guy, he has government contracts, he has all of this. But the one thing he can't get is the admiration that Superman has, which bricks him because he's like, why can't I have that? I have it all, and yet I don't have the admiration and the hair, of course. So it's like, it is in a way, it goes back to what I was saying about how the real world, unironically, is more like kitschy and stupid than a goofy ass comic book villain because that's just Elon Musk. Okay? That is literally just Elon Musk. You are like, under normal circumstances, if we lived in a universe where Elon Musk didn't exist, I'd be like, this is so stupid. Like, you mean to tell me there's a billionaire, the wealthiest person on the planet, that is like seen as like this brilliant person, but is like the deeply, deeply insecure? But that's Elon Musk. That's literally who he is. That is a primary motivator. Okay? That is unironically a primary motivation for Elon Musk, okay? I don't know what else to say other than that's just who he is.
More than they like me, which is a pretty boring motivation, to be frank. So the characters are complete pastiches. They're just cardboard cutouts. Even the moments that are supposed to hit don't hit because there's so much going on in the background because James Gunn cannot control his ADHD. He just cannot.
I think he was pooping his brains out for the next 36 hours.
There's a scene where Clark and Lois, they've had a fight and now they're back together and they're having a talk. And it's supposed to be this very intimate talk where they're speaking with each other. And literally outside the window, Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl are fighting a gigantic sort of eye monster that looks like it's from Suicide Squad.
Stop it right there, Joker. You'll never get me, Batman! Will you catch him up?
It's
God, these edits are so ass.
Extremely distracting because he's James Gunn and everything has to be some sort of dumb joke.
Wait, what? That's the point. What the And he also didn't use the original scene, and he just used a separate scene instead, which I don't know why. But yeah, what the what? That's the whole point. It's supposed to be like Superman, regardless of this like analog for God almost, like a moral figure, like a deity, is still capable of feeling hurt, is still capable of being wronged, is still capable of being almost petty at a time when like there is a necessity for him to save the city. He's too invested in having a conversation with his girlfriend after he got over, and he's like looking for his dog. He's sad. He like, in spite of his superhuman status, he still has the capacity to feel feelings like a human being.
Joke. You're like, well, shouldn't Superman be doing something about it? No, let them handle it. Again, that's irritating. As far as the plot itself makes very little sense. The plot is basically
dude, this literally okay, I can't believe I'm saying this. Ben Shapiro inadvertently, without recognition, has created a movie review that Lex Luthor would have made about the movie. Like, this is, I suspect if Lex Luthor in that world was reviewing the Superman movie, he unironically would review it like this. It feels like this is almost like a meta review. It's like, Ben, if he just shaved his head and was like LARPing as Lex Luthor, this would be a much better product.
Lex Luthor has decided that he is going to make a deal with a foreign politician who...
I love Nicholas Hoult, by the way. He's so good.
The left wants to believe is both Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu, but actually is just kind of nothing, is going to invade another country.
That's not... It's David Ben-Gurion, by the way, which I'm surprised Israel's greatest defender doesn't even recognize. He's based. I mean, it is a placeholder for both Benjamin Netanyahu and also Vladimir Putin. That's for sure. There's like a little bit of like Russian USSR almost style, like Russian associations, but there's also directly Israel. It is literally Israel, and he looks like Ben-Gurion too.
And Superman stops that invasion. Apparently, Lex wants to use this as an excuse to box up Superman, saying that he's running counter to American foreign policy. Now, we've seen that iteration in other movies, right? That was in Batman versus Superman. You've seen it in other versions of the Superman story. But
also, even the flag, dude, when I saw the flag of Barovia, I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, dude, they're not subtle about this at all, brother. They were, bro, come on. I mean, they put like a kind of like a Star of David on that flag. It's not the Star of David, but like it was crazy to see. Wait, Hassan, I just got off the stream. Did you like the movie? I love the movie. It's not like it has different colors than this, but that's just, I think that's like the Barovian hammer. That's the way he shows the flag. But it does have this star. Dude, I'm sorry. That's crazy, right? Like, when I saw that, I was like, what the that is the copium, and Ben is wild. She actually tried out for Superman, but James said he would make a better Lex, which was so cool. Do you believe Baravia has a right to exist? No, that's from the Hammer of Baravia. Yeah, that's Hammer of Baravia, and the way like that's what his suit looks like. But is there a still from the movie? Do we have a still from the movie? What the is this? Okay. Iron Dome head. What is this? Literally a Palestine flag in the last shot. Wait, is that? The villain is Israel. James Gunn's Superman set the ruffle feathers as early viewers realize it's entirely pro-Palestine. I don't know if they That's the Jaunpur flag, but it's the same colors. Yeah, I don't think they would. I don't think any big budget. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. There is 0% chance that there would be a real ass Palestinian flag that made it past any of the censors. Okay. Yeah, this is the real flag with the Star of the Day with extra points on it. My far right cousins shit on you constantly, and I have to agree to not make it awkward. I hope you forgive me. No, you should tell them they suck and fight them at my behest.
But it's not really taken kind of to its ultimate extreme politically. In any case, it turns out that what he really wants is to annex half of this separate country. He's going to split it with this other dictator. One major plot hole. Lex Luthor is obviously the smartest person in the film. So smart, he can create his own universes. There's a major...
Oh, the only thing I didn't like was, I will say, there was one criticism I had. It was Lex Luthor's combat system. That's the only thing I didn't like. I don't know if it's because it's like too faithful of an adaptation of the comic book, but I didn't like the combat system that they created, where he would be calling out the shots ahead of time. And I guess it's because like it's supposed to, he made it like chess for his ego. Yeah, I get it. I get that part. But he's just like, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. He's supposed to be a chess master. Yeah, he made it so that it was like a chess move. I like, because he would just call out different things like 1A, 3D, and then that would mean 1A is like a straight right hook, like straight right punch, right? So we say 1A, 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 and then like he would just like be straight punching Superman, like the Ultraman that he created. Oh my God, the map of Jaunpur is literally Israel-Palestine with the border drawn different. Yeah, this was from I think this was literally from the movie too.
Plot point. And he is concerned about a relatively small piece of land occupied by third worlders. This is his big plan. And later it turns out that he said, oh, no, I started that war just so that I could get people to turn against Superman. Okay, well, he does that halfway through the film. And then he jails him, and then he leaves him alive and explains this secondary plan that apparently was his primary plan, sort of. But he doesn't kill Superman at the time for a reason that remains undisclosed.
We hear that he killed 27 children, and you're always going to make mistakes, but that's how it is.
The entire plot is a complete mess. If you try to chart it, there's no way to do it because James Gunn doesn't care about plot. James Gunn doesn't care about characters. James Gunn cares about joke.
Being woke. James Gunn cares about being woke. That's what he cares about. Wokeness. Look at his hair. It's awakened.
And aesthetics. That's what James Gunn cares about.
Nobody cares anymore.
It's very difficult to make Clark a hero in a situation in which the plot is a complete mess. And again, that's not a rip on Nicholas Hoult, who I love in everything. I think he's great. Or David Corn.
What do you mean? How is it dude, what the It's like automatically implied. You're watching a Superman movie. Of course he's the hero. If anything, it makes it harder for, I would say that if you want to criticize something about James Gunn, the thing you should criticize, and it's too limited of a time frame to like really build out this world. The only criticism I have is like how quickly people turn on Superman. That was too like, but I give a lot of liberties because it's like supposed to be a comic book adaptation. So like I can suspend my disbelief on that. But if anything, that was the major criticism, which is that the turn happens in a way where it's like way too, it's way too immediate, where, all of the people turn on Superman almost instantly as soon as like the TV says Superman is bad and he wants to actually dominate the world. All of a sudden, everyone's like, boom, we all hate this guy, right? And I think that that was one of the only parts of the scripting, the screenwriting, where I was like, well, this is a little bit, this is a little crazy. Right?
Sweat or Rachel Brosnahan. That's a rip on James Gunn as a script writer. It's just not a good script. Okay, we'll get to more of this Superman review from Ted back. Our CGI vomit, like complete Ben YT. Okay, the visuals are, when I say a mess, I mean that the visuals are CGI vomit, like complete CGI vomit. So James Gunn has an addiction to kind of gross and weird imagery, which doesn't really fit in the context of the, again, Americana that is Superman. And so there's some really gross and weird images, particularly in the Pocket universe, where you have characters who are turning themselves into weird tentacly octopuses, and you have people's eyes being attacked on a wide variety of it. He has an obsession with eyes, James Gunn, and you can see it in Suicide Squad. He has like an obsession with the eyeball being pierced, and it's very strange and off-putting. My wife was very off-put by a lot of this imagery. It feels like psychedelic LSD CGI vomit is what it feels like for large portions of the film. You never really get a kinetic scene of Superman doing something cool.
Do you have Top Gun, Ben Shapiro's Top Gun review? Because I want to see something. Because I wonder if he talked about how Top Gun was very clearly Iran. Because it was. Everybody knows it was Iran, right? Like the new Top Gun was about striking Iran. It was the Fordow facility, right? And I wonder if Ben makes that.
Do you feel the need for speed?
Yeah, this is back when he was popping, by the way. So anyway, we'll get to that in a second.
Multiple scenes of giant heavy objects falling on Superman and Superman stopping the giant heavy objects from falling to save an individual. Again, another plot hole. You'll have a giant building. The entire building will fall, and he will stop the building from falling to save one person or a chipmunk who is in the way. But it's an entire building full of people, so presumably all those people are dead. In any case, the visuals, I think, are a problem. The music, again, John Williams is still alive. Just hire him to do your Superman movie, you stupid. Just stop it.
Get some help.
I get very exercised. This is the only thing that really exercises me about this. John Williams, his original Superman score is one of the great scores in all of movie history. It is a phenomenal score, beginning to end. It may be John Williams' best score. I love that score so much. It is a great, great score. It is magic.
How many views does this have? In one day, only 167,000 views. He's washed. He's over.
And what do? They take the original theme and they play a few notes from it because it's so iconic, and then they underscore it with nothing, with like a pedal tone. It sucks. The music is awful. The score is terrible. Just play the original score. The original score is good. The original score is magic. You feel the magic when Superman flies in the original score.
Bro, this literally is the beginning, okay? When he's flying through the Arctic, this is exactly the same visual, but basically bass boosted with modern tech. They literally did that. It is such a faithful adaptation. I cannot believe it. Like the initial flight that he takes on from the Arctic Circle is so perfect. It's so strange to me that he has an issue with this. When if he was to like look at this in all sincerity, he would be glazing the out of this movie. And the reason why he's not glazing it is because of, you know, the thing that he undermined, which was the Israel analog. Okay, the Israel analog. That's what it is. He didn't like that, but he can't say that he doesn't like that. So he has to act like there's other reasons why he didn't like it. Okay, that's what's going on here.
Like, what are you doing? Okay, then we get to the actual politics. So I know this is what people are waiting for. They're waiting for my political rip on this film. So we've been told this is a movie about illegal immigration. Not really. Honestly, like you have to look to find that. There's one line where Clark is saying, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?" James Gunn's politics is so ham-handed, like truly ham-handed, that it doesn't even read as political, it just reads as stupid. So there's a moment where Clark, he's being arrested, and he says, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?" And one of the members of the government says, "Well, you're now considered an enemy alien, or you don't have any rights because you're not an American." All right. Like, if that's supposed to be some sort of like anti-ICE sentiment, it's really weak. Also,
oh my God. From the brilliant eyes and the brilliant mind that brought you Lady Ballers. Ben Shapiro has a lot of opinions, chat. He has a lot of opinions on this. He's like, it's supposed to be ICE. Is that what it is? Yeah, dude, it is. It is supposed to be that because Superman is a illegal immigrant, dude. He's an illegal alien. That is the whole point. Oh my God.
Legally incredibly stupid, considering that he came to Earth as a baby and then was adopted by an American family, which would make him
Ben, dude, what the? Yeah, no, he's a dreamer. There is a specific term for it. There is literally a specific term. When Superman was invented, there wasn't a specific term for exactly what Superman is. Now we have one. It's called a dreamer. Superman should be a DACA recipient, okay? Deferred action on childhood arrival. That is literally the specific legislation written around Superman's style of illegal immigration into the country. Oh my God. Yeah, he's DACA man.
That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country. on a vacation.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
There's a suggestion that he says truth, justice, and the human way. I didn't catch that anywhere in the film. The sort of social media politics that social media is stupid and rigged by bots, which, I mean, I think everybody sort of agrees on at this point. And there's a really dumb visual joke where Alexis set up actual monkeys typing into computers as his bots. It's like, oh, God. But that's so James Gunn. Again, it's all so...
Yeah, that was silly for sure. But that's, you know, it's silly. It's a comic book movie.
Like James Gunn. I mean, I just...
Like a lot of the silliness in this can be attributed to the fact that it is a comic book movie. Every single frame that you see like that, if you close your eyes, you can visualize as a scene in a comic book. Okay? And I think that was what he was trying to do, which is to make a faithful adaptation of a comic book that is going to be silly. Like down to what's his name? Jimmy Olsen, is that his name? Like he's supposed to be like a super hot guy that is so hot and people love him so much that like the girls love him so much that no one even notices Clark Kent. Okay? No one even notices that it's literally Superman wearing glasses. Like, but he made him into the character that he actually is, but he still kept the whole like Riz factor. Like it's silly. It's supposed to be silly. That is the whole point. It's a silly comic book. Like not everything, in my opinion, not everything has to be like super serious. Yeah, it's camp. It is intentionally camp. When you see something that's like really dumb, right? When you see something that like doesn't make any sense, where you're like, what the f***, this is so corny. You're supposed to think, oh, this is what it would look like in a frame in a comic book. Down to the annoying social media influencer girlfriend of Lex Luthor. When shit's popping off and Lex Luthor's girlfriend is right there going, and like taking photos of everything, okay? That is a verbatim, one-to-one. I can see that in a comic book frame. That is exactly what it would look like in a comic book frame, okay? Like if you go into this with the expectation that this is going to have like gritty realism and like dark tones or whatever, it's an adult movie. Okay, this is a movie made for adults. I want my comic book movie to be like an adult focused comic book movie, even though none of them actually become like real adult works, with the exception, I guess, of like The Dark Knight or whatever, right? With the exception of like Nolan works initially. Like this is not that. You're gonna be disappointed. It's a very, very different style, okay? It goes so far as to say this is the exact opposite of that, because that Snyder verse was a failure, okay? That's why this is supposed to try a different thing, okay? This is a reversal of that kind of attitude that people have. And it doesn't do the annoying Marvel style. I can't believe I'm saying this is James Gunn, but like it doesn't even do the annoying Marvel style shit either. It is cheesy and corny in a good way, in exactly the type of way that comic books are. And it's not in the type of way that like Marvel flicks have corny ass references in them, because Marvel will put like real world corn into its comic book adaptations. This just straight up does corny in the way that the comic book would.
And again, I'm one of the people who, when James Gunn was first fired from the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise in July 2018 over bad old tweets, I actually defended him at the time. So it's not about like anything personal with James Gunn. I just don't like his movies very much. The other politics of the situation are supposedly this foreign policy thing. So the left is suggesting that the foreign policy conflict in which Superman engages is a stand-in for Israel and the Palestinians, or alternatively for Russia and Ukraine. So let me give you the geopolitical setup. The geopolitical setup here is that there is a country called Moravia, and this country called Moravia is run by essentially a corrupt dictator who's working with Lex Luthor, and it invades another sovereign.
Yeah, say it's a U.S. ally, because that kind of destroys the whole "this is Russia-Ukraine" analog, don't you think? You know, unless James Gunn is the unless James Gunn was saying Ukraine actually invaded Russia, okay? And he's one of those Russian flag, Palestine flag guys on Twitter, because it really doesn't make sense as a Russian-Ukrainian conflict analog here at all, because it's, you know, it's America's valuable ally that gets billions with a B dollars worth of weapons. And yeah, invading a sandy country with its Merkava-style tanks and Humvees and U.S. gear.
Country, Jarhanpur. Okay, and so Superman stops that at the very beginning. Okay, like, and doesn't show him stopping it. He talks to Lois Lane about it. Fine. Okay, the idea is geopolitically that Boravia has been a longtime ally of the United States. Jarhanpur is a country where we don't know who it's allied with, and it may or may not.
Dude, he's trying hard. Bro, I swear this is literally Super Woke Review from the perspective of Lex Luthor. He's like, Boravia has a right to defend itself. Boravia has a right to defend itself against Jarhanpur. Everyone knows Boravia was destined to be. Boravia was destined in the Bible 3,000 years ago. Lex Shapiro. This is deeply anti-Semitic. Why do they not show that Jarhanpur is using human shields? Jarhanpur is being backed by scary enemies of America. Yeah, Ben Shapiro is about to be like, Boravians like to build. Jarhanpurians like to live in dirt and blow things up. Oh. Oh, that's funny.
Not be run by jihadis, but we don't know. Like, we don't know who it's run by.
Oh, it's run by jihadis.
Doesn't matter. The only reason that Clark stops it, that Superman stops it, is he says because
people were going to die.
Yeah, it's that simple. That's it. It's not supposed to be any different than that. And in many instances in the real world, that is a perfectly understandable moral compass that, unfortunately, not every single person abides by. Okay?
Which, as we'll get to in sort of my final breakdown of why this movie doesn't work and why no really good Superman movie has been made since '78.
What did he say?
I'll explain in a moment. The people of Jarhanpur are brown.
Look at my African American over here.
The people of Boravia are white. Okay, so this is why the left is reading this as Israel, the Palestinians. The reason it doesn't work that way is because we are not made aware that the people of Jarhanpur are either wildly terrorism support.
Oh my God. Oh my God. There's more nuance to the Jarhanpur conflict. Oh my God. Oh, I was joking when I said this. Oh my God. He literally says he does a Hasbro for Superman for a fictional Israel analog. That's crazy. That is crazy, bro. Bro, that is amazing. Yeah, tweet like you're in Metropolis as response. This is how you know it's a direct analog to Israel-Palestine. Oh, 100%. Yeah, Zoran Mamdani wants to be the mayor of Metropolis, yet he refuses to say Boravia has a right to exist. Straight up. Eric Adams. Metropolis is the Jarhanpur of America. No, is the Boravian capital of America. Hasan, on a quick different note, did you like Sinners? I loved Sinners. Yeah, they're not talking about whether Jarhanpur committed acts of atrocious violence.
That they've participated in multiple terrorist attacks on the people of Boravia. They're led by a corrupt dictatorship that murders gay people, right? None of that's in the movie. So it doesn't match up that way. And the idea that Boravia is Israel in this iteration, like a longtime U.S. ally that's randomly invading countries for territorial gain.
Yeah, that would never happen, except for the one country that Ben Shapiro seemingly always defends unconditionally, which is precisely the reason why he's actually real butt mad about this direct analog, which you know is a real analog. Oh my God, this is the best possible proof that you know this is Israel, okay? God damn. Tweet like you're in Metropolis. My apartment complex just split in half, but we just sent another $200 billion to Boravia.
not match up to any of the facts on the ground that we know of at all. That is not real. So maybe in left-wing brain, that's how it reads. I could see if you're a left-winger and you don't know anything about the situation, or you think...
Yeah, totally. Ben is the only one who knows about the situation. I love that these guys will also try to reduce like actual critical thinking about Israel and Palestine as an ongoing, 80+ year conflict that is filled to the brim with ethnic cleansing on one side, obviously, and an apartheid state and a genocide that's ongoing. And they try to say, no, it's actually the left that's like reductive about it. Meanwhile, the Israeli officials are like, this is a war between the children of light versus the children of dark. These are darkness. We have to kill them all. They are human animals. Like, who's reductive here, man? It's not... The people that say this is complicated, actually, are just people that obviously have to exist in the real world where they recognize that most people don't with Israel, and they still try to like find something that's like redeemable about Israel's behavior when it's it's obviously irredeemable.
A bunch of false things. You could read that maybe. You could also read this as Russia-Ukraine because it's one sovereign country that's invading another sovereign country, and because the leader of Moravia has a Russian accent. So I guess that if you have like poison left brain.
The Russians are nuking us.
Yeah, this is cope. This is so cope. Yeah, is America funding Russia's invasion of Ukraine? Is that what's going on? Is America funding to the tune of billions of dollars Russia's invasion of Ukraine?
Go!
Yeah, Ukraine, famous for its desert-style portrayal and its brown people holding AKs. Look, man, Hollywood is not exactly shy about presenting all countries in that region in this similar way. And in this circumstance, that blunt stereotyping is obviously pointing to one thing, and that is that this is Israel and Palestine, you know?
Come on! The missiles are coming! They've lost their mangoes! Get to the gym!
But you certainly don't have to read it that way. And I'm not going to read it that way because it's stupid and it doesn't make any sense politically. It makes no sense. Okay, so this brings me to my final point about...
I like that he presented it as an alternative in an effort to basically move away the conversation from like the actual analog of Israel-Palestine. Okay, but then his alternative is so stupid that he basically said, it's stupid. It doesn't make sense. Oh, okay, so it is Israel-Palestine then.
This movie and all other Superman movies. The fundamental flaw in all Superman movies of my lifetime is the thing that Hollywood cannot say and will not do.
Politics, does he still stand for truth, justice, all that stuff?
The only Superman movie that I have ever seen that uses truth, justice, and the American way is the original 1978 Superman.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
This is not just a throwaway line. It is deeply important to the character of Superman. Why? Well, because take Superman just as a character. Superman is unbelievably powerful, unstoppable. He's faster than anyone. He has X-ray and laser vision. He's stronger than anyone, right? He's basically a god on earth. And the biggest...
He wants to deny the allegory entirely, but he knows it's a 1-1 and he just can't help but defend Israel. I know. That's why it was so funny where he's like, it's obviously not Israel-Palestine, because if it was, then they would show that Jarampur is doing heinous acts of terrorism.
He's Zeus, right? He can do whatever he wants. And so why is he the good guy? Why isn't Lex Luthor right? Because, let's be real, if there were a person on Earth who actually had those powers.
Praying for Moravia, Justin Bieber posting a photo of Gaza and then making it and saying praying for Israel. That's great. That's a deep cut. People forgot all about that. Remember when Justin Bieber did that shit? That was crazy. He's doing Hasbaravia.
Americans would rightly be very much afraid of that. Correctly. As Federalist 51 suggests, you need ambition to counteract ambition. If any one person had ultimate power, what you're really talking about is a philosopher king. And that's pretty scary because that person could be a dictator, simply doing whatever they want to the world. The only reason why Superman would be a hero as opposed to a villain is because he grew up in America, because he has the American way, right? He's emblematic of what America is. May blunder, may make mistakes, but overall stands for freedom and liberty and private property and free speech and all of those things.
All that stuff.
Right? All the good American stuff. There's a great comic book called Superman Red Sun.
Wait, no way. Does Ben like Superman Red Sun? Because I love Superman Red Sun. I recently watched the animation of this as well, which was all right. It wasn't like super. I mean, it was great. What the? Wait, hold on.
It's an alternative universe in which Superman's capsule from Krypton lands in Soviet Russia, and he grows up as the emblem of Soviet Russia, and he's evil because he grew up in Soviet.
What? No, that's not. Wait, what? That is not the takeaway at all. What the did? Brother, that is not. No, Miller literally at most you can say was depicting a perfect universe. Like his ideology there is unironically, you know, there's a lot that's wrong with America and there's a lot that's wrong with the USSR. And we need to like, in order to find like a perfect, in order to strike a perfect balance, we have to get some of the good sides of both. Like that, it's literally, it is not, he is not evil at all. What the dude, conservatism breaks your brain. This went to Harvard, dude. He went to UCLA undergrad and then Harvard. How are you? Did you not read? When you read stuff, do you just like see the hammer and sickle go, obviously this is evil, like Nazi Germany? Like what? What? That's crazy. He just went, Superman is obviously evil because he's not American and socialist. That's so stupid. I mean, Millar is not, you know, he's not like a socialist by any means, but it's very obvious that in the comic book and in the adaptation, the animation, like they don't present Soviet Superman as an evil figure at all. Like there is an, if anything, I would say in the animation, there's too much of a cowardly turn, a cowardly heel turn at the end where they just like abdicate all of Superman's personal responsibility and his developmentary project in the USSR back to the Brainiac or whatever the fuck that evil AI thing is. But overall, in the formation of the USSR, shepherded by Superman, he is like, you know, he has like this genuine, ambitious project of development and a worldview that is not immediately showcased as evil at all. As a matter of fact, it shows it as awesome with like a dark side to it. But they present both the United States and the USSR as deeply flawed ideological projects, and one where the US is perhaps even more evil than the USSR is. Unironically, like they don't show the USSR as like this pure evil nation state project at all. They literally show the United States as more evil than the USSR in the comic book. I mean, for what it's worth in the actual book, yes, that's why I said like there are obviously ideological limitations to Millar's the depiction. I mean, for what it's worth, the actual book, the portrayal of the USSR and the communist Superman are a typical liberal take of naive good intentions that end up super evil with the same lib ending as the movie. Yeah, but it's more so. I read it more so as like these are both. There are good sides and bad sides to both. It's like a typical liberal, almost social democrat approach of like, we need a mixed market. Like you can't do full communism or you can't do full socialism. Both end up as failures, like that type of attitude. Ben Shapiro's take on it, on the other hand, is obviously it's purely evil. They make Superman purely evil because he was born in Russia.
Of the West, long have you been deceived by the lies of America. This beautiful wall.
Dude, he literally liberates Korea and unites it. Get the out of here. At no point do they actually show this as a bad thing. They literally show this as a good thing.
To prevent you from knowing the truth, that you live your lives enslaved to the capitalist elite.
Like, I would go so far as to say, even under like Stalin, even under Comrade Stalin, okay, Superman is like depicted as a hero of the people. Like, my life to the state, my life in service to the people. Like, I would go so far as to say, like I guess if you have a negative association with that kind of language, like, you automatically assume they're showcasing it as evil. But I thought it was like relatively faithful to like the attitude that you would have in the USSR if such a beacon were to exist. He literally builds a mega dam. They use his superpowers to do development projects that actually power the entire state under the guidance of Stalin. They literally, there's even a mention of like the Sino-Soviet split as well, because he kills Stalin in Red Sun. And there is a moment where like the Chinese ambassador is like, I'm terrified of you. Like, there's almost a subtle nod to like the Sino-Soviet split of like betraying Stalin and Stalinist principles that make China worried about Superman's ambitions. It's awesome.
Red Sun. It's an alternative universe in which Superman's capsule from Krypton lands in Soviet Russia. And he grows up as the emblem of Soviet Russia. And he's evil because he grew up in Soviet Russia. Because if you give that power, that amount of power to an evil ideology, then evil ensues. So this is why it's really important. It's not just truth, justice, and the human way, or truth, justice, and all that good stuff. There's a specific definition of Americanism that says that this is why America, for example, should be a world power, because America is better than other countries. And people who live in accordance with Americanism make the world better.
I love when Ben goes, I don't like it. You guys, the left has a reductive approach to the world, and then will, in the same breath, turn around and be like, America is the ultimate power for good and should retain hegemonic superpower status in perpetuity because it's only done good and its enemies are evil. Thanks, Ben. Thank you for your nuanced and complex political worldview. When Superman ruled Soviet Union had a 95-year life expectancy. Yeah. Bro, it's also one of the things that I did like about Superman Red Son is that it just straight up is like on the fuck anarchist tip. Like, it literally portrays anarchists as evil collaborators that are counter-revolutionary that will service Western governments, okay? Batman in Superman Red Son is a straightforward maniac terrorist. He is a literal anarchist terrorist who services American empire and every step of the way tries to destroy the developmentary project that is the United Superman backed Soviet Republic. Okay, he literally works with Lex Luthor.
If they have more power. That's why America is good. Because otherwise, Superman is bad and Lex Luthor is right, and we should restrict his power and we should jail him.
He's literally taking the Lex Luthor approach. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's the whole point in the movie. In the movie, the entire plot revolves around Lex Luthor's attitude where it's like, well, we got to control this super powerful being. Like, I don't like that. He's not serving the interests of empire. Lex Shapiro. Oh my God. Oh my God. He literally is like, well, obviously, if he's not a controllable super weapon, then we have to literally end his life. Luthor is right. We should restrict his power and we should jail him. What a screenshot. What a perfect screenshot and a perfect demonstration of Ben Shapiro's worldview. Holy.
And we should check and balance him, and we should not let him be free. The problem is that Hollywood cannot say the American way because they don't believe in the American way. They don't believe that America is unique. They don't believe in these American basic values and principles and rights. They have a hard time even with the idea that, like, the values of Ma and Pa Kent back on the farm are values that ought to be promulgated in the best of all possible circumstances. And so what they come away with in kind of the key moment in this movie, for example, is Pa Kent telling Clark that parents don't make missions for their kids, right? They don't make their kids kind of what they are in terms of what they should be. They give kids the tools to choose what they want to be, and then those choices make those kids what they are. Okay, that's kind of half true and half not. Of course, you give your kids the tools to make choices in life, but you also try to define the mission your kid should have in life. That's maybe the most important thing you do as a parent. Direct them in a world of choices at what is the ultimate good, what is the ultimate goal. Hollywood is not run by people who believe that there is such a thing as an ultimate good or an ultimate goal. It's run by moral relativists who have a kind of, at best, soft-pedaled, generic, be nice attitude toward the world, which is why Superman's defense of intervening in this foreign conflict is
People were going to die.
okay, well, people would die on the other side, presumably.
Dude, oh my God, he's saying that the conflict between Moravia and the conflict between Israel and Palestine is complex and nuanced, and that both sides have done some things. He's trying, oh my God, that is amazing. That is hilarious, dude. He is so bent. Of course, simultaneously, there is no moral relativism that he is applying when he's talking about how America is the ultimate beacon of good and all things good, and Superman should represent America because America is good and Superman is good, and God forbid America does something bad. Okay? But it is hilarious where he's like, well, you know, in terms of like Israel Palestine, I mean, both sides have some good. Please remember that it's complex, it's nuanced.
If you didn't intervene, or people die every day in conflicts all over the world. Right? The reason that Clark or Superman is supposed to intervene is because one side is right and one side is wrong. And unless you are willing to simply say that all foreign policy situations in which people die under any circumstances are equivalent, which I don't think is right, then you end up in this kind of weird generic place. The central question of Superman has never really been handled by any movie, and it's certainly not handled here, which is why should one person be given this much power? And the answer is he shouldn't, unless he is essentially just a metaphor for what makes America awesome, which is what...
I love this review, bro. This review is amazing. He just straight up says it out loud. He literally is like, in my worldview, I'm like a child. I'm like a baby, okay? My understanding of the world is like a baby. The only pure good in the world is America and what America represents. And therefore, Superman has to represent America. Because if Superman is at odds with America, as it is in the movie, and America's foreign policy decisions, that makes me feel bad. That's why I'm actually in favor of Lex Luthor killing Superman. That's what he's saying. He went against the U.S. ally, which was Moravia. Did he even watch the movie? No, exactly. No, he's just mad. He's mad. That's why the comments are making fun of him. This review was sponsored by Luthor Corp. I would have been shocked if you liked the film. Wait, so now Superman's against genocide? Who signed off on this radical idea? Ben unironically thinks Lex Luthor is justified. Ben's comments about Mom, Pa can't caught me so off guard. I'm from Scotland, so perhaps I don't have the privileged biases of Americans, but I absolutely did not think of them as sloppy or downtrodden. They seem to me like normal good, the kind of people Superman exists to protect and serve. Seems a shockingly cruel and judgmental reading, and frankly, I'm a bit disappointed. That's the kind of arrogance that gives old school conservatism a bad name. Superman didn't become woke. You grew up to be a villain, Ben. Ben's describing his parents as ugly and non-noble is such a tell of how nasty and odd his spirit is. The original mythos that Pa Kent dies, sure, if you only seen the movies and the comics, whether one or both, neither Kent parent dies, depending on which comic age we're talking about. The original Golden Age comics have them both die. Post-crisis, neither die. I think if you're like a modern conservative and you operate on the good-bad dynamics and you always have a tendency to side with evil, okay, if you're like a modern conservative commentator, you are finding yourself on the evil side of things quite frequently. Okay. And therefore, like easy to understand narratives such as the one that we are watching frustrate you because you're like, no, why isn't it showcasing the nuance of evil countries doing evil shit and how they have to do this evil shit?
What Superman was designed to be. This is why Superman in the original comics is punching Hitler. Because he is the American way and not the German way or the Soviet way or...
Wait, punching Hitler is the Soviet way. What the do you mean? What? Just doing a little bit of World War II revisionism?
The Chinese way, which are different things. So, again, that is the fatal flaw, I think, for pretty much all Superman movies. But in this one specifically, they don't even bother with any of that. It's cotton candy. You'll watch it. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll be like me and be overcritical. You'll walk away. 2 days later, you won't be thinking about the movie. 2 hours later, you won't be thinking about the movie. Nothing about the movie is going to stick with you. The hero of the movie is the dog.
That's not true at all. I love the movie, and it stuck with me for sure. If anything, it got better the more I thought about it afterwards.
Superman has to be saved multiple times by this, like, not particularly good dog. I mean, he's a good doggo, I suppose, but he really is badly behaved, this dog. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Faillennial. Good doggo.
So, my overall review, 2 out of 5 stars. Meh. I think that the stars do their best with bad material given to them by James Gunn.
The worms going in.
Yeah. It's James Gunn woke mind virus. That's what ruined it. That's what poisoned it for Ben. These are the guys who used to always say, why do you have to make everything political? And, the left doesn't appreciate something if it has like bad politics in it, politics that they don't agree with. And to a certain degree, there is an element of truth about a bunch of like joy killers in the peak of woke. Okay. But that's precisely what Ben is doing here. The only thing he didn't like about it very clearly is that it is, as a matter of fact, Israel versus Palestine, and Superman and the heroes that he inspires end up beating the out of Israel, like directly, hands on. Okay. That's it. He saw too much of what Israel's doing that is bad.
Let's bring in ABC.
And it pissed him off. And now he's taking this approach. Hasan Reactions is one of the best ones in the React channel.